multiple state felony charges. Plus, why you should drive more carefully during the upcoming solar eclipse. And in sports, an Ohio wrestler travels to Kansas City for the NCAA championships. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Reese Thompson. Welcome to Newswatch. Former Ohio House Speaker is being indicted on 10 counts of state felony charges. Larry Householder is facing charges alleging misuse of campaign money and ethics violations, including one count that would permanently ban him from holding public office again in Ohio. Householder was convicted last year concerning House Bill 6, but those convictions couldn't prevent him from running for public office. The state indictment claims Householder misused campaign funds to pay for his personal criminal defense in his federal case, and he allegedly failed to accurately complete joint legislative ethics committee filings. Attorney General Dave Yost says that today's state charges against Householder are the next step of accountability. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine spent the afternoon in Athens promoting the Appalachian Children's Health Initiative. As part of the initiative, the Appalachian Children's Coalition will be getting more than $64 million in funding. The money will go to create and expand community or school-based health clinics. One of those 28 projects is a mobile school-based eye care program to provide care to at-risk students in Athens, Jackson, Washington, and Ross counties. Providers will utilize mobile eye exam equipment to provide comprehensive exams and diagnose any vision or ocular health issues. New changes are being made to Ohio's administrative rules in reporting non-fatal overdoses in the state. Governor Mike DeWine applauded the new rule that requires emergency departments to report non-fatal drug overdoses to the Ohio Department of Health. The rule was approved by the Joint Committee on Agency Rule Review and will take effect on April 8th. This rule will provide a more accurate view on non-fatal overdoses and allow for faster identification of populations affected by the epidemic. ODH Director Bruce Vanderhoff says this new data will help reduce the number of drug overdoses and lessen the burden on families and communities. Be careful while driving during the upcoming solar eclipse. Researchers are warning people to be mindful if they're driving on Eclipse Day, April 8th. In a new analysis just published, there's a brief surge in traffic accidents around the time of the last total solar eclipse in 2017. Traffic risks increased by 31% according to the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. That's an average of one extra crash every 25 minutes and one extra crash fatality every 95 minutes. The increased risks were similar to those seen around other busy travel holidays. According to the analysis, about 20 million people traveled to another city to view the eclipse. The authors note that the increased risk occurred in the hours before and after the moment of totality, not when everything is dark. It's that time of year again in Nelsonville hosts their 18th annual music festival. The festival will be held at the Snow Fork Event Center from July 26th to the 28th. The headliners for this year are Killer Mike, Courtney Barnett, and the Sacred Souls. The Nelsonville Music Festival is the largest annual fundraiser for the Stewart's Opera House and depends on the support of their volunteers. To support and donate to the Stewart's year-round arts education programs and to get further information on the festival, please go to nelsonvillefest.org. Hundreds come out and celebrate the start of the new year. On Sunday, OU's Nepalese Student Association hosted their annual Nepalese night where authentic full-course meals were prepared, such as vegpul and chicken curry. Traditional Nuwa music, dances, and presentations of Nepal's rich history were a hit. Although the event provides an immersive experience for everyone, it is not the only reason why students participate. President Pandey says the night is more than a celebration of diversity and culture.
We are here as a family, so we are very far from our families, but like here we are living as a family.
With over 60 family friends in the association, they provide each other with a sense of acceptance and unity. All profits from the event will go towards the association and community outreach. You are now taking a live look outside the Nelsonville City Square, where it almost reached 70 degrees today. Same goes for Athens, as well was a nice surprise after a chilly weekend. We are now joined by forecaster Isabel Isco. Isabel, it has been beautiful outside, and now I can finally put my jacket to rest. Is it going to stay that way the rest of the week?
We're going to be looking at a little bit of chillier temperatures these next couple of days, but once we're looking into this weekend, it's going to be looking very similar to now, just with a little bit of those spring showers. Currently out there, 71, like we were talking about, reaching those 70s, getting in that 71 degrees with that humidity very low. We're going to be looking at these dry conditions today in this warning going into 9 o'clock tonight. This is this special weather statement, this red flag warning. They go hand in hand. It is going with the fire starting materials that are outside. With those dry conditions, any kind of dryness on the ground, it can cause sparks to very much make a forest fire at any moment. So if you see a spark, put it out, and that goes until about 9 p.m. today. We're going to be seeing some rain in our forecast for tomorrow. I'll be getting into how that rain is going to be affecting us and how it's going to be chilling down these next couple of days. Let's take it back to Reese.
Thanks, Isabel. The Biden administration is spending $6 billion to cut planet-warming pollution from heavy industries. Coming from the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law, the funding will go to more than 30 U.S. factories working to reduce about 14 million metric tons of carbon dioxide a year. This means taking about 3.3 million cars off the road in a year. Coming up, Boeing CEO announces he is leaving the company by the end of the year. A new milestone.
I know I've been talking about that rain, but will you need to keep that coat away, or are you going to need to put that back on? Next on Newswatch.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Is there a secret?
Yeah, well, there's lots of secrets. I really don't share them with too many people, though, because it's fairly dangerous.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
It's no secret that Baton Rouge has tons of treasures.
That's as far back as I can get.
Baby, I knew you were worthwhile.
Thank you. Oh, this one.
Don't miss Antiques Roadshow from Louisiana State University Rural Life Museum.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
This is crazy town.
On Finding Your Roots, Carol Burnett.
My heart is going boom, boom, boom.
And Niecy Nash.
Even with the hard parts, there's something about knowing.
A complicated grandmother.
She was married 6 times.
And a family shocker.
When you said we gotta let him know, I didn't think you meant me.
Plus, a DNA match.
That's the one.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Regardless of your stage of life, whether you're starting your first job, getting the keys to a new home, or enjoying retirement, it's never too early or too late to create an estate plan to care for loved ones and support the causes that are meaningful to you. WOUB Public Media is pleased to have partnered with Giving Dogs, a free resource for building an estate plan that fits your needs and protects the people and causes you care about. Visit WOUB.org and click the support tab to get started today.
Are you nervous?
A little.
And action!
Bright things ahead, darling. Brightness and joy.
I've got plans.
Everything feels better after a cup of tea.
No talking. I just want to be right here in this moment with you.
You're going to be a bigger star than ever.
This is good news for all of us.
Best episode ever.
More turbulence in America's aviation industry. Boeing CEO says he's out, announcing that he'll leave the company by the end of the year. This comes as the Federal Aviation Administration says it's increasing its presence in United Airlines operations, more closely looking at workflows, manuals, and facilities amid rising in-flight safety incidents. Laura Geary has more on the fast-moving changes rocking the air travel industry.
We don't put airplanes in the air that we don't have 100% confidence in.
That was Boeing President and CEO Dave Calhoun back in January, after assuring lawmakers on Capitol Hill of Boeing's commitment to safety and transparency. Now Calhoun says he's stepping down, along with 2 other top Boeing execs, by year's end. In a letter to employees Monday, Calhoun called the Alaska Airlines accident a watershed moment for Boeing, saying the company must continue to respond to the accident with humility and complete transparency. The Alaska Airlines door plug blowout in January is just one of several high-profile Boeing-related flight mishaps so far this year. Calhoun told employees that during this transition, Boeing will remain squarely focused on returning the company to stability after extraordinary challenges in recent years. Over the weekend, the FAA announced it's increasing its oversight of United, Boeing's largest U.S. customer, to ensure that the airline is complying with safety regulations, identifying hazards, and mitigating risk, a move that could impact United's future plans and decisions.
Whether to drop or expand a route, whether to increase the number of flights to a city, those kinds of decisions may be pushed back.
While that may not cause delays for current routes, it could mean the busier high-demand routes may not offer more options to passengers anytime soon. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
The UN Security Council passes a new Gaza ceasefire resolution. The U.S. abstained from the vote while all other members voted for the resolution. This new resolution demands an immediate ceasefire leading to a permanent sustainable ceasefire. It also demands, quote, the immediate unconditional release of all hostages and that all barriers are lifted to provide the humanitarian assistance needed in Gaza. The vote results caused rare cheers from the UN chamber. This decision came after the Security Council failed to pass a resolution the U.S. put forth last Friday. There are more major developments today in former President Donald Trump's legal battles in New York. On the civil side, he's got a reprieve in the nearly $500 million bond that was due, but he was also dealt a blow during a hearing for his criminal hush money trial. Washington correspondent Julian Benbrook has the latest on Trump's legal woes.
In a New York civil fraud trial, former President Donald Trump was given more time to post a massive bond while he appeals the ruling. The appeals court gave the former president 10 more days to come up with the money and cut the amount necessary to $175 million.
We have no guarantees of it, but it seems like it's a number that's reachable for him.
That decision gives Trump a major lifeline, as he was facing a Monday deadline to secure a bond for the full $464 million judgment.
It will be my honor to post, and we'll post whatever is necessary, whether it be cash or security or bonds.
Meanwhile, in a separate criminal case, a judge dismissed the former president's motion to delay the trial further. Jury selection in Trump's first criminal trial is now expected to start April 15th. This trial is related to Trump's alleged efforts to falsify business documents related to hush money payments made to cover up an alleged affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels. Trump has pleaded not guilty and has denied the affair.
This is a witch hunt, it's a hoax.
This could potentially be the only one of the 4 criminal trials the former president is facing that would occur before the November election. In total, the former president faces 88 criminal charges across 4 indictments. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
And for your full look at weather, you can notice that today it has been beautiful outside. Hopefully you were able to enjoy these warmer conditions out there. Right now we're looking at Athens 71, Parkersburg 71, all of this general area. We're seeing those high 70s, low 70s, high 60s. It has been a beautiful one out there. You can see currently, like I said, Athens 71. That humidity is bringing in this fire warning like I was talking about earlier. This will go until 9 p.m. tonight. So if you're planning on having a little bonfire out there, it is nice enough to have one of those. Make sure that if you see a spark or if you're lighting a fire, that you're putting it out. These low humidities and this little bit of wind that's coming in can spread fire very easily. Looking into these next couple days, looking at that radar now, you can see that this system has really been over the west and it has been kind of creeping there, and now it's starting to make its way into our area. Tonight, 44 of that low, 70% chance of showers. That'll be hitting us in that very early a.m. past midnight. So if you have any plans for tonight, you won't necessarily need that umbrella tomorrow, you're definitely going to need it. Looking at that radar, like I said, this system is making its way through. It has been pretty stagnant over the Midwest, but it is making its way through the area pretty quickly. Tomorrow, 100% chance of rain. That'll be from pretty much that early a.m. before about 7, 6 o'clock until about 7, 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and it'll still be lingering until about Wednesday morning. So if you're going anywhere tomorrow, any of those plans, hopefully any outdoor plans you had today, because tomorrow you're going to need that umbrella, you're going to need that rain jacket. It's still going to be on that little bit of a warmer side with that 59-degree high, that low of 46, that'll be coming in that early morning in that late p.m. You're going to be seeing 12 hours ahead, so very early morning. It's not quite on us yet. You might see a little drizzle here and there, but once we're looking at this time tonight, that's whenever it's going to be making its full effect. And looking at Wednesday morning, still that full effect like I was talking about. Then by 48 hours ahead, Wednesday night, it'll be making its way out. Maybe a couple sprinkles here and there, but other than that, it'll be making its way through mostly tomorrow. So like I said, you need that umbrella for tomorrow. Then we're going to be looking in the clear for these next few days until we hit that weekend. So tomorrow, like I said, bring that jacket, bring that umbrella. You're going to need it. 100% chance of showers. Looking throughout the week, we're only going to be seeing those 50s once again on Thursday. Then once we're looking into the weekend, we're going to see that warm up once again. Little bit of a chance of showers, but definitely enjoy those warmer temperatures. It's looking very spring-like here in Athens. Let's take it back to Reese.
Thank you, Isabel. More than 2 million new cancer cases will be diagnosed in the U.S. this year alone, according to projections by the American Cancer Society. While talking to children about a cancer diagnosis is hard, experts say it's important. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how to have this tough conversation.
After revealing her cancer diagnosis, Catherine, Princess of Wales, said one of her biggest priorities was finding the right way to tell her young children.
There was a time when, the information was hidden.
The American Cancer Society says children seem to sense when something is wrong, so keeping a cancer diagnosis from them may result in confusion and fear.
When you're talking to children, they probably understand, more than you think they will.
To start the conversation, the organization says to be open and honest, speak in a way they'll understand. They need to know what to expect and how the diagnosis will affect them. Younger children may need fewer details than those who are older. Most kids should know the basics, the type of cancer, where the cancer was detected in the body, what will happen during treatment, and how that treatment may change the person's life, their appearance, and how they feel.
A lot of times kids actually wind up blaming themselves. And so you need to reassure them, be honest with them, let them know it's a serious diagnosis, but there's a plan going forward.
Finally, the American Cancer Society says to allow children to ask questions and talk about how they're feeling. Find a good time when you won't be disturbed and when you're feeling calm enough to talk about the diagnosis. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Cancer Society says some children, like teenagers, may find comfort from a support group where they can express their feelings. There are also local and national camps across the U.S. designed for children who are impacted by a parent's cancer diagnosis. Caitlin Clark's record-setting success is showing how women are continuing to change and elevate the sports world. Millions of eyes are expected to be on Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight as they continue their run in the ladies' NCAA basketball tournament. 2023 saw record revenues for elite women's sports, from volleyball to basketball to soccer, and according to Deloitte, women's sports will see further growth in 2024, set to pass the billion-dollar barrier level for the first time. Danette Layton is the CEO of the Women's Sports Foundation.
Starting to see this transformation finally, but it takes time. It takes time to change gender norms. It takes time for those to understand that we've deserved this for a long time.
In 2023, football stadiums were filled, setting attendance records for women's volleyball and basketball. The Women's World Cup also set new highs for attendance and prize money. And now in 2024, Deloitte predicts revenue generated by women's elite sports will surpass a $1 billion for the first time, a total that's up at least 300% from just 3 years ago.
Next in sports, a local wrestler competes in the NCAA tournament over the weekend. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube.
I take a huge sense of pride in the fact that what I do feeds a hungry nation. It takes a lot of faith.
I'm an independent pig farmer. 94% of us are gone. Puts the fight right in you.
The dairy world is a volatile one. Addiction is something I battle with big time, especially like when finances got rough.
If we don't carry on their legacy, then what are we fighting for?
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Public health saved your life today, but you didn't even know it.
Viruses, pathogens, and microorganisms threaten to bring us to our knees.
Killing 2/3 of the population at a time.
The world was turned upside down. Public health emerged as a kind of invisible shield.
And in the pandemic, that invisibility is gone.
If everything's working well, nobody thinks about public health.
Public health is like the foundation of your house. And let me tell you, ours is cracked.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
A powerful new technology.
Artificial intelligence.
The possibilities seem endless.
With AI, drugs can be cheaper.
To see where those fires are starting.
But so do the risks.
We're going to live in a world where we don't know what's real.
AI is going to be one of the most fundamentally destabilizing transitions in the history of our species.
AI Revolution on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
The way humans make sense of the world is through stories.
We've got to go ahead and start training to go to Mars.
And liftoff.
We pay tribute to all who serve and who have served.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Artists here are making a difference. I'm trying to seek redemption.
Welcome back. I'm Peyton Brooker. In Ohio wrestling over the weekend, senior and Southeast Ohio native Peyton Keller finished in 5th place in the NCAA championships. Keller from nearby Cutler, Ohio and Washington County made it to the championships after winning the MAC championship and taking home the MAC Co-Player of the Year. He also earned All-American honors for his placement in the tournament after he placed one of the 8 top placers. For the Ohio Bobcats as a team, they finished in 25th out of 68 schools participating in the championships. Keller finishes his senior career in Ohio with a record of 28 wins and 4 losses. And on the diamond over the weekend, the Bobcats baseball and softball teams were on the field finishing off their 3-game series in conference play. Starting off in baseball on Sunday, the Bobcats would fall to Central Michigan 7-2 in the rubber match at Bob Brennan Stadium. The Bobcats struggled to get the bats going, only being able to score 2 runs off of 6 hits. On the mound for the Chippewas, Evan Waters kept Ohio from breaking away, pitching 6 innings and 6 strikeouts. Relief pitcher for the Bobcats, Zach Weber, tried to slow down Central Michigan with a quality performance, striking out 6 batters in 5 innings. And in softball on Saturday, the Ohio Bobcats would be swept in the series to Miami Redhawks, losing the final games 5-2 in Oxford for the Battle of the Bricks. Miami kept things scoreless until the final inning as C.C. Kydell hit a 2 RBI double, but it wasn't enough as the Redhawks closed the game out in the next at-bat. On the mound for Miami, Caitlin Reeves would throw all 7 innings, only giving up the 2-run double. The Bobcats will return to Athens, Ohio, to take on Central Michigan on Friday, with the series starting on Friday. And as for the Ohio baseball, they return to Bob Brennan Stadium tomorrow to take on the Dayton Flyers in an A-10 versus MAC matchup. The Flyers so far this season had some success with 15 wins so far, but are looking to bounce back from their 2 straight losses on Sunday against Butler. The Flyers are led by David Mendez and Carlos Castillo, who combined for 43 RBIs. For the Bobcats, senior Gideon Antel currently has a .438 batting average, which currently leads the MAC Conference and is ranked 20th in the country. The game in Athens, Ohio is set for first pitch tomorrow at 4 o'clock. That's all I have for sports. Back to you, Reese.
Thanks, Peyton. Still ahead, cherry blossoms are in full bloom in Washington, D.C. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
There was only 2 type of jobs for black women
and I had no desire to be either one.
Growing up in the 50s, you could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, you could be a housewife. But those seemed to be sort of the limits of women.
I would be in a room with all men, and I got used to it. After a while, it doesn't matter.
It's pretty hard to carry your case unless you're pretty outspoken and pretty stubborn.
I never, ever thought that someday I would be in Congress. No one in our family had ever gone to college or finished high school.
Girls just weren't seen as legacies. So at the end of the day, when he looked around, there was nobody left but me.
My husband's comment to me was, good grief, you're spending every day down there anyway. Why don't you run for mayor? It had nothing to do with being a woman. It was, I knew I could do the job.
Thursday at 9.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
Finally tonight, thousands of locals and tourists turn out in Washington, D.C. to see the cherry blossoms this past weekend, which are now in full bloom. From the stage of the Warner Theater to the walls of the Tidal Basin, the National Cherry Blossom Festival is in full swing, despite the cold weather. Some people came a long ways to experience it. The National Cherry Blossom Festival ends on April 14th. The Park Service will then start removing nearly 160 cherry trees around the Capitol to help repair the city's deteriorating seawalls. Well, I love seeing the cherry blossoms out, and it's obviously the best sign that spring is almost here.
Yes.
And I was driving actually on the side of the highway, and I saw them, and I was like, oh my gosh. And that's my favorite Senate.
So beautiful, and hopefully you got to enjoy that warmer side out there and got to take a walk on that bike path to see those cherry blossoms here in Athens. You could see that red flag warning in that special weather statement that I've been talking about this whole show, just making sure that you are very mindful of any kind of fire that you start, or if you see any sparks on the ground, that you put them out. They can spread very rapidly. Tonight, that overnight low of 44, that 70% chance of showers, that'll be hitting us more into the early a.m. Looking at tomorrow, we're looking at marginal rain risk, not too much rain. It is going to be very stagnant throughout the day, pretty much an inch of rain from that early morning till tomorrow night. That temperature high 59 and that low of 46 for tomorrow. Then looking at that outlook, once we're done with that rain tomorrow, it'll be on that cloudy side, getting sunnier again until we start hitting those chance of showers by this weekend.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Isabel Isco and Peyton Brooker, I'm Reese Thompson. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.